They hurting for people, but they doing this. You hurting to recruit and retain people, but y'all doing this.
Stop it. Get some help.
Hey, my friend, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Adam C. Scott, and I hope that you get value from this video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, turn on the post notifications bell so that way you get notified whenever I post a new video, and leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts about this video. But let's just go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so this hits home for me because I used to actually be in the Navy, and actually right before I separated and left the Navy, they was doing this. So I'm not sure if you saw this, but the Navy went ahead and said we're gonna go ahead and separate about 2,000 of them things. So what they did was separate roughly about 2,000 service members who refused to get the jab. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? Well, if you're in the military, you got to conform, and if you don't conform, you have to pay the consequences of your actions. And you know, the problem with that is, like, you know, it's a little bit different, right? If there was a lot more research, a lot more study, a lot more time that went into producing what we have now. But when it first came out, 2020, 2021, a lot of people were getting these rare diseases that they've never had before, super healthy. And then on top of that, other people were dying just randomly, just dying. And to add insult to injury, you know, in the military, we gonna be the first to get anything. So if the FDA approves any other, you know, shot or, you know, anything, then the military is going to be firsthand the people that gets issued, right? You know, so not sure if you're familiar with this, but the Navy went ahead and separated 180 active duty sailors in the past month for refusing to get against COVID-19. And as a result, they've separated over 1,500 active duty sailors and 327 reservists for refusing to get the mandatory 2-shot for COVID, right? And so here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. With what's going on right now, I'm not sure if you saw my most recent video. If you haven't, go ahead, check that out, where I talked about 5 reasons why the military is suffering as far as recruitment is going. Is this right here? Is this right here? And it's not getting any better when you think about how many sailors are just like, no. I knew a guy right before he was about to hit his like 20-year mark. So if you don't know, when you hit 20 years, you get your retirement basically for the rest of your life. He's about to hit his 20-year mark, and he said, no, I'm not getting it. And so as a result of that, it's like, well, we're going to have to separate you. So just imagine being at 15, 16, 17 years in, and they're like, well, we're going to go ahead and remove you. Now, if you have seen part of this, they've received 3,300 religious accommodations. But let's be honest. There was a recent article, and I'll probably post it down below this video, that said that the last time, you know, a religious accommodation was approved was like in the early 2000s, middle 2000s, right? So most of these religious accommodations are getting submitted and they're going to get denied. Mine got denied. Like right before I got out, I put it in religious accommodation, denied. I put in an appeal, denied. I know another friend that put it, denied. You thought you was going to get a religious accommodation. You thought you was going to get some religious accommodation, and you know their argument is Well, why are you putting one in now? You should have put one in when you first got in. But let's be honest, right? Let's be honest about something. How many of us even knew about a religious accommodation? I know my recruiter didn't tell me about a religious accommodation. I know my RDC and boot camp didn't tell me about a religious accommodation. I know my first class and my chief at my first command didn't tell me about no religious accommodation. It was my first time even hearing about this. And I was in the Navy for 6 years at the time. You hear me? So it says that they approve 50 exemptions. But it also says this did not increase in the past month. And it says these are likely exemptions for service members who are leaving or retiring from the Navy. So it's just like, all right, well, what about the people that just re-enlisted? What about the people that just said, you know, I want to do another 6 years or another 4 years or another 3 years, and they don't want to get the jab? What does that mean? Well, you know what that means? We're going to have to take our money back. Because when you re-enlist, depending on your rate, you can get a re-enlistment bonus, an SRB. And if you say no to this, if you say no, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take their re-enlistment bonus back. Give me all my money back, and then we'll separate you. I mean, most of us that get out get an honorable, but, you know, there are some people that are getting like general under honorable conditions. It's just like all for refusing to not get something that hasn't been enough research done around it for it to be approved by the FDA, right? So it's concerning because they hurting for people, but they doing this. You hurting to recruit and retain people, but y'all doing this. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So what do I think is going to happen? Well, I think the people that do get separated are going to have a bad taste in their mouth about the military. But I also think it could affect what they do in the civilian sector, mainly because most companies and corporations and businesses and establishments are requesting and requiring people that want to work for them to get it. Since when has that been a requirement? Like, hey, in order to work for our company, you need to get the flu shot. Do you have your Hep A, your Hep B? Do you have your yellow fever shot or whatever other shot they have come out here? Do you have any of those things? Like, when has that ever been a requirement? It's never been a requirement, ever, until now. So let me know what you guys think about this video. I'm gonna get off my soapbox. But it's just, it's kind of confusing to hear this happen when there isn't enough people staying in, nor are there enough people that they're recruiting to join, but they're doing this. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. So let me know your thoughts about this video. I want to keep it short, sweet, and to the point. Again, if you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Turn on post notifications bell so that way you get notified whenever I post a new video. And leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are about this. And do you agree or do you disagree with the Navy's decision to separate 2,000 service members and sailors for not getting it? Until next time, peace be with each and every one of you. God bless.